Greetings. Today I'm going to talk about the spells, and let's just jump right into it. The first category of spells I'm going to talk about today are elf spells, and they can be learned by intelligent elves as well as bards who impersonate Freya or Freyr. You have birdsong, which enables you to deliver messages to people who are very long away. You can detect Attins as well as orcs. You have a spell here that enables you to gain a bonus to your intelligence test when you test it for something like mathematics or dance. Same with balance, enables you to gain a bonus to your dexterity test in relation to acrobatics, and elven charm enables you to gain a bonus to your charisma test when it is used for social interaction. Here you are able to gain some information from plants and even rocks. Walking on snow can put someone to sleep. Protection against sorcery. Some lore spell. Lights, you can create some lights. Healing. Elven grace, in relation to stealth. And elven enchantments, enabling you to use an orichalcum piece to enchant a spear, sword or dagger weapon, or a bow, to make it particularly effective against a certain type of foes. The numbers you see right next to the spells are just, if you want to randomly pick a spell as a GM, you can throw a d20 and you can have a few randomly picked spells for your NPC elves. And the same is the case for dwarf spells as well as orc spells, although for dwarf spells you only use a d10. Dwarf spells is the next category I will talk about, and as you can tell it is related to something completely different. You can detect metals, you gain a bonus to your crafting skills, you can enchant, you have again the lore thing. Then you have dwarf speech, enabling you to deliver messages from a distance, again protecting against sorcery. And then you have the runes of closing, a rune of hiding, enabling you to hide a door. And of course, rune of opening, enabling you to open a door. Orc spells, on the other hand, are more dark in their nature. You can turn the sky dark, you can make people fear the dark, you can increase their chance to run into some sort of Attin phenomena, which is a bad thing. You can enchant, healing but weak, orcish necromancy, create trolls, undead creatures, poison and a weak protection against sorcery, a curse, and as well as a summon Attin spell, enabling you to summon some Attin creature. So elf, dwarf and orc spells are all in their own category. Although you have everyone has some protection against sorcery and then some type of enchantment and healing, except dwarf actually. So it's really very much related to the nature of the creatures casting these spells. And as you can tell under here, the main deity knowing the spell is here Bolthorn, which is an Attin. And for Fulan spells, that would be spells that humans can learn. You have for every spell the deity listed, that is the main deity, knowing that spell. And for human spells the variety is much bigger, and I think also I would claim they are a bit more powerful. I will just go quickly through it, but read the names of the spells. You have aggression, you can create an animated vine. The spells with a black background and a white name are spells that only sorcerers can learn. So here you have fly, foreknowledge, fruit of the land, fruit of the sea, ghost feet, ginning, jallarhorn, grounding, and some proverbial wisdom. The higher you go, the deeper you should plant your roots. Haste spell, hatred, healing. And for the healing spell, the die used when you are to determine how many hit points you heal is based on the deity that you impersonate, or in case of sorcerers, a d8. And females are better for healing than males. Hit signature. And here you have the more classical wizard type spells that only sorcerers can learn. Ice Bolt, Illusion, you have Insight, Invisibility, and Invisibility is just, 1 or 2 rounds of invisibility, so it's not extremely powerful. Leather Boot spell, Levitate spell, Lightning Bolt, Light of the Mind, Law, Love, which of course is Freya spell. Maze, Megin Jord, it's a strength spell known by Thor. Miasmic Veil, which is a harmful vapor that spreads out. Mirror Image, Moonlight, Moonlight, and you have 3 different types of light spells in addition to the Elven light spell here. You have Moonlight, I think you have Starlight, as well as Sunlight. So they overlap a bit, but they are different still. Rain, of course, which is, of course, the deity of thunder, Thor. Purify, protection against sorcery, reconciliation, remembrance, rose rune, shield, shapeshift, 7-mile boots. And the shapeshift spell I think is interesting because it enables a sorcerer to turn himself into an animal, and the type of animal is based on your sex and level. Yeah. Shield, a shock bolt, another shock bolt. The difference here is that you pull with this and you push with this. Scanthan, Slayer weapon, slow, sun rune, sunlight, and sunshine. Here you have a thirst spell, thunder clouds, and then you have the enchantment type spells where you use an orichalcum piece to enchant an item by means of a spell. And then you have, weapon of the earth, weapon of the sea, the sky, the spirit, the sun. And then you have another spell, wind and waves, which enables you to influence the weather. Winged metamorphosis, which enables sorcerers to, using a feather from a giant bird, can turn himself into a giant bird. Wool and year rune. And that would be all the spells in ReconQuest. The different creatures have spell-like abilities too, and some of them know certain spells as well, and the information about that will be listed in the creature section. And then you have this spell, which sounds a bit odd, right? A female target receives a bonus to the contest needed to survive birth, reducing the result of the die roll by an amount equal to the 1/3 of the spellcaster's level. Doesn't sound very useful, does it? And frankly, it's not very useful when you play the basic rules. But when you move on to the expert rules, where domain play style is the thing, it suddenly becomes very useful. Because you build settlements, you build kingdoms, and you will probably build families too. So for the expert rules and the domain style play, this is actually a very useful spell. When you are performing actions, spells are performed last. First the movement, then you have missile combat, melee combat, and then spells. And if the spellcaster is interrupted during his spellcasting, he will lose his spell. For example, if he's hit, if somebody throws or shoots something at him, then he will lose his spell. Unless a spellcaster is injured in the same round by a melee or missile attack, which causes the spellcaster to automatically fail his attempt, he can cast a spell. Whether a spell is successfully cast or fails, it counts as one use of that spell. Spellcasters can cast spells in the order determined by initiative.